Folks, welcome into That Betting Show for Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. Your one-stop shop for all your sports betting needs right here at sportsbookreview.com. He's Teddy Savransky. Give him a follow on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm Donnie Seymour at Right Side VP. Upside down NBA, Bosa and Murray now co-favorites for the number one overall pick in the NFL draft. UVA, forget the air conditioning at the Carrier Dome. They heated it up last night, but how about this, Teddy? Put the tanks in reverse in the NBA. Big tickets went down last night if you were sitting on a Suns ticket, if you're sitting on a Pelicans ticket, and better yet, Teddy, if you combine the two, 41-1 in the NBA. It's all happening, Teddy.
And that's a two-teamer. That's not a 12-teamer. That's a two-teamer paying 41-1 in the NBA. Look, I've talked about it many times over the years. Moneyline parlays on underdogs is where sportsbooks have legitimate vulnerability. And last night, the Suns rallied, got a miracle win, but they got it. Pelicans rallied, got a win in the fourth quarter. They got it. That paid 41-1. All right? It wasn't the only dogs to hang around. The Knicks got to the window against Sacramento. The Hawks wire-to-wire job against the Heat. It's a very odd NBA season right now in terms of one thing and one thing only. The tankers aren't tanking, and you'll see it across the board. We'll talk about a game in just a few minutes with the tanking Chicago Bulls taking money all over the place. We saw it last night. Beware, the mainstream media doesn't have the tankers right when it comes to NBA betting right now.
No, and you saw that, salacious article there on the Suns owner, Robert Sarver, yesterday. So what did the Suns go out and do? They actually win a big game last night, Teddy. Look, we've been talking day in, day out on the Los Angeles Lakers right now. Congratulations if you stayed up on the East Coast at 10:30 to watch that game. The Lakers went down again, and we talked about, Teddy, the odds shifting is amazing. When we talked yesterday, minus 110 around the All-Star break, plus 220 after the All-Star break. Now under 1% to make the playoffs. Pretty soon, Teddy, we won't have to talk LeBron and the Lakers at all at this point.
Yeah, the Westgate pulled the prop off the board last night, or this morning after it was bet from minus 110 to plus 600 on the Lakers to make the playoffs. And obviously, with the loss to the Clippers last night, at least here in Las Vegas, I shouldn't call it the Westgate Superbook anymore. I have to call it Superbook USA. Superbook USA took it off the board. They've taken as much no money as they want.
Hey, we're in March. It's March 5th right now, March Madness. Yesterday, me and Teddy broke it open yesterday, popped the corks on the A-Sun games. Teddy, I got to hand it to you right last night. Kennesaw State getting 27.5 to open, dipping down to 24, end up covering that all together throughout the day. Throughout the game. Today, 3 more conferences kick it off. Big South, Horizon, Patriot conferences, all get it going. Interesting ones. Look, these are still lower level. If you don't know these conferences, it's nice to watch because, look, they're going to go advance, and you might get a better game heading towards the finals. But the futures are out right now. If we take a look at some of the teams in the Big South, top 3, Radford, Campbell, Winthrop, Horizon League, Northern Kentucky, Wright State, and Oakland. Patriot, top 3, Colgate, Bucknell, and Lehigh. So you're getting some decent prices in there. But keeping it up again, hey, look. If you're watching the big boys all year long, stick to what you know at this point. But just fun to talk about it, Teddy, because as we go every single day, opening up another conference, another 3 conferences today, and it continues right through to a March Madness, obviously getting going in the tournament starting up and Selection Sunday. But a lot of fun to be had, and you could pick up some money here.
Sure. Look, the next 3 weeks are as good as it gets when it comes to sports bettors. You have conference tournaments this week, big-time conference tournaments next week, March Madness the following week. And, of course, the opening weekend of March Madness is the best of the bunch for bettors because you have so much to bet on morning, noon, and night. So enjoy this time. This is awesome. And, of course, we look at the 3 leagues that go tonight, Big South, Horizon, Patriot. There's only one chalky team in the bunch. I think they deserve to be the chalky team of the bunch. That's Northern Kentucky, even though they came out with the same record as Wright State. Northern Kentucky, much better stats than the Wright State Raiders.
Yeah, these one bid conferences are fun because even if you don't participate or bet all during the season and watch, these are one and done. And it doesn't matter if you went 15-1, 14-2 in conference during the season. You have to win your tournament in order to punch the ticket. We'll keep an eye on here. Your one-stop shop, as we like to say, for all your sports betting needs on That Betting Show and also sportsbookreview.com for everything NCAA action. Big 12 big boys roll on Monday last night, Teddy, and UVA smokes the Qs. I watched that Syracuse game, just like a lot of everybody did last night up in the Carrier Dome. Looked there along like, ooh, that sharp side Syracuse looks so good up 2. And then Virginia does what they do on the road and puts that death clamp on you on defense. 17 points out of Syracuse at home in the second half. Extremely impressive, Teddy. We got to make up T-shirts now that say anybody but Duke for UVA.
Yeah, 19 points in the second half for Syracuse, but less than 20, less than a point a minute. If you can do that, obviously you're playing great defense. What did we talk about on the show yesterday? We talked about the incredible trend for Virginia in road ACC games over the last 2 years. They just covered, I think, all of them but one or two. I mean, they've been monsters, ATS on the highway. And what else did we talk about? We talked about the betting markets could care less about that trend. All they want to do is back Syracuse as a home dog. Well, wise guys got their ass handed to them again last night. UVA backers, sure, you had to sweat for a little while, but when Virginia gets on one of those rolls where the shots are falling, boy, the defense is tough. And another team that Virginia just shuts down completely in a hostile environment. This Cavaliers team is impressive. They really are.
No, they make the right passes at the right time. And again, we talked yesterday on the show, that 2-3 zone, you can shoot over it. They can do that. They make the right passes. They flash to the baseline, flash to the top of the key. It's impressive to watch, and they were awesome in the second half. Very rare that you see, Teddy, 30,000 people in the arena. And with 4.5 minutes to go at Syracuse, that place was emptied out. It was amazing to watch. Yeah. But yet, UVA is going to do that. Put that death clamp on you, and it's over. Teddy, Big 12 news last night. How about this? Kansas State goes in and knocks out TCU. Texas Tech manhandles Texas. And here we are looking with one game left to play on Kansas' schedule, sitting a game and a half back, trying to get that momentous, 15 Big 12, at least championships or co-championships in a row. Looks like it's going to come to an end unless a minor miracle is pulled off there. Kansas in play again tonight. They have to win this game, but also need both of those teams to lose with Kansas State and TCU.
Texas Tech and Kansas State both have to lose at home to an unranked opponent over the final weekend of the regular season for Kansas to have a chance at their 15th consecutive, sharing their 15th consecutive Big 12 title. But look, the bottom line for the Jayhawks is there have been better teams in the Big 12 this year. And it's finally showing. It's been a heck of a run for Kansas. But this title's not coming this year. I don't see Texas Tech and Kansas State both losing at home to unranked foes this weekend.
No, I completely agree with you there. Absolutely agree with you. Houston Astros, Teddy, Major League Baseball first look. We're getting some good baseball teams now. 103 wins last year, 59 losses in 2018. 2019 looking like another run. 6.5 to 1 to win the 2019 World Series. Team total, Teddy, listed at 96. A 96 out there. That is amazing. That's going to show you how talented this team is. Banged up last year without Altuve and Correa, still got to 103 wins. Leaned on that pitching staff. You know, they do lose Dallas Keuchel, but still dominant. Great bullpen out there. They add the to left field Michael Brantley, the Cleveland Indians clutch hit over the past few years, who has been banged up. We'll see if he can reemerge. But this team, Teddy, as good as you can get 1 through 9 and a solid bench as well. But boy, looking at 96 as a team total, that just tells you how impressive this squad is.
Yeah, they're impressive from a straight-up standpoint. All the fans got to love Houston's chances, and they're live to win the World Series. They're live to go deep again in October. From a betting standpoint, this team's in many ways like the Cleveland Indians. There's no possible way to make money betting the Astros day in, day out because the price is too high. They won 103 games last year, flew over their season win total. Dominant baseball team. Did they make any money for their backers? Not one penny. They were money losers. When you win 103 games and you lose money for your backers, it tells you all you need to know. You know, maybe you can make money with the Astros on the road. They were plus 25 units on the highway last year, 57 and 24, by far the best road record in baseball. Of course, they were minus 27 units at home, 15 more unders than overs. You love this lineup. I'm with you. The infield's dominant. The outfield's dominant. There's nothing not to like about Houston's ability to score runs. The bullpen, I still got my questions about Osuna and his ability to close without issues, but the bullpen looks good. The starting staff, Verlander, Cole, McHugh, Miley, James, solid. But from a price standpoint, I can't see how the Astros are going to be profitable. Not significantly profitable. They are simply priced like an elite team, and every time they lose, they're going to be losing as $1.80, $2, $2.20 chalk. That'll eat you alive if you're betting the Astros day in, day out.
Exactly, barely scratching through the surface. If you're at home and you're winning 2 out of 3 and barely getting money, it's amazing. If you go 1 and 2 at home, that's where that minus units comes into play. Overnight line movers, Teddy, sportsbookreview.com and SBRodds.com, your place to check out all these line movements 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Big East line on the move, Teddy. Butler opened up at -4, creeped down to 3, but looks like, in the past hour and a half has gone back up to 4, maybe even higher. Chris showing offshore -4, -113, Intertops -115, and betonline.ag -115. As well. Should be a decent game tonight. Xavier trying to creep back into it, but nice little line movement here. Dip in the morning, comes back in the afternoon.
Yeah, of course, in Vegas, they're both in the morning. Dipped early in the morning and came back a little bit later. And it's worth noting, I thought the initial money came because of Elias Harden, who is we'll call him Xavier's sixth man. He doesn't put up a lot of stats. He's been a key guy for them coming off the bench. And he was suspended. Now he's been reinstated and he expected to play tonight. So I think that was the initial money towards Xavier. The markets like the spot here for Butler. Xavier's won 5 in a row. Butler returning home off a pretty ugly loss at Nova over the weekend. They've lost 4 of their last 5. And the markets we're saying and are saying, circle the wagons time for the Bulldogs. All that being said, Butler's not a very good team and not a team I want to lay points with, especially against a red-hot Musketeers squad.
How about this, Teddy? Bulls trying to bounce back, and it looks like the line agrees with them. Opened up at 8.5 offshore, dips to 6.5. We'll see what ends up before game time here. But nice movement in this game. 219 total, money line split, plus 250, minus 300. Bulls backers uniting here for the cause. See if it works out for them.
Sure. Otto Porter is officially an impact player in the NBA right now. He was third fiddle in Washington behind Beal and Wall. In Chicago, he's taken over the franchise. I mean, they're 6-2. The Bulls, the last place, hapless, god-awful Chicago Bulls, are 6-2 in the 8 games Otto Porter has played for them. He sat on Sunday against Atlanta. Lo and behold, the Bulls lost. They were 6-1 in their previous 7 with Porter in the game. The quote from Jim Boylan, we want to protect that calf and just his overall soreness. He wanted to play Sunday. That's just the kind of competitor he is. But we feel it's best for him and the team that he takes the day with the amount of soreness he has and how he's feeling. The market's expecting Otto Porter to play tonight for the Bulls. And the Bulls have been much, much better with him in the lineup. And, of course, Lauri Markkanen has been on a roll. He's been a monster of late. I can understand why the money has come on Chicago, although Indiana's defense may be a tough nut for the Bulls to crack.
Watch that betting show with Donnie and Teddy here right on sportsbookreview.com. Watch what you bet tonight. We're going to be watching here along on TNT as the Rockets and the Raptors, as the Rockets head north to take on Toronto. Minus 3.5 total, 227.5. Moneyline split, plus 140, minus 160. 2 teams, Teddy, in this environment here. Look, when we take a look at Houston, 28-33 ATS on the season, 9-8 as a dog, 12-19 against the spread on the road. And Toronto doesn't fare too much better. 27-35 on the season, 20-30, Teddy, against the spread as a favorite at home. Something's got to give in this one.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Raptors. You want to talk about, we're just talking about the Houston Astros a minute ago, and hey, they won 103 games, and they still weren't profitable. Here are the Raptors. They're 6-2 their last 8, only 1-7 against the spread during that span. So the markets have Toronto priced here, and their level of play has only been about over here of late. They're still winning these games, but they have not covered numbers. Now, it is worth noting they are coming off a loss at Detroit. A loss in which they didn't play particularly well, a loss in which they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. And, this is a team that only had 1 2-game losing streak since mid-December. They've been pretty good at bouncing back off a defeat. But you talked about their ATS failures, and it's been long-term, and it's been significant. 5-10 against the number, just a 33% ATS proposition as short chalk. Favorites 4.5 or lower all season. The Rockets, they're on a roll, 5-0 straight up and against the spread the last 5. That includes road wins at Golden State, Charlotte, and Boston. But, the game against the Celtics, I mean, they were draining. Eric Gordon hit 8 threes. 4 of the 5 Rocket starters had at least 3 of them, but they only got 9 points, 0 assists, 0 steals off the bench, and their depth took another hit. Fareed and Shumpert, both questionable at best tonight for Houston. Without that duo, I'm not excited about taking the Rockets, despite their recent success.
Stumbling Celtics, Teddy. Losers of 5 of 6 games head out west to take on the champs. The Golden State Warriors line currently sitting at -8, over under 229.5. Two money burners in these situations as well, Teddy. Celtics 31 and 32 on the season against the spread, but 0-5 versus Pacific Conference foes. Tongue twister there. 8-15 against the spread versus the Western Conference. Taking a look at the Warriors. How about this one, Teddy? 11-19 against the spread at home. 2-10 against the spread in the second half of the season. Something's got to give in this one.
Yeah, it does. Someone's got to cover. Or we could see a push. But two teams that the betting markets, even backing these two teams, you've been burning money of lately. You know, the Warriors 1-9 ATS their last 10. And it's worth noting they have 5 different wins without a cover during that span, even including the one at Philadelphia to close out that road trip. A win, by the way, a quote like this always worries me. You know, Warriors coach Steve Kerr called the win at Philadelphia to close out that road trip one of the best wins of the year. You know, Steph Curry. With 20 games or 19 games left, these feel-good kind of games where you just figured out how to win is very kind of playoff-esque. We want to build that kind of mentality and expectation down the stretch. Now, Golden State should have Klay Thompson back in the ball game, back in the lineup after he missed the game at Philly. It's hard for me to lay points with their Warriors. They are not living up to market expectations. The market expectations are too high. But, I mean, the Celtics, you know, they're 1-5 straight up, 2-4 against the spread since the break. They're hitting 26% from 3 over the last 5 games. They're getting crushed on the boards, and the team chemistry has literally imploded before our eyes. Kyrie Irving and his teammates are not getting along right now. It's very visible on the floor. Hard game to bet. 2 teams I don't want my money on right now.
Teddy, keep hope alive. Can Kansas keep it going? We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. They need a little bit of help to get moving, but they need help from themselves to start out. Kansas, -1.5 now, was about 1 earlier when we were punching up the script for the show. Total had 143, money line split, -115, -105. It's going to be an ESPN 2 game tonight. When we take a look at Kansas, Teddy, nothing as good has come out of them on the road. 1-8 against the spread on the road, 6-9 against the spread in Big 12 play, and 0-3 against the spread as a road favorite. When we flip it over to Oklahoma, Teddy, 18-8 against the spread on the season in line games, 6-3 as a dog, and 9-5 against the spread at home. But it looks like some of that money and the public backing early still coming in on Kansas here.
Of course, it's Kansas. You know, I mean, they're Kansas, and they're playing for a chance, and we talked about it earlier, where it's not a good chance because they have 2 opponents that need to lose at home or 2 other Big 12 teams need to lose at home to unranked foes on Sunday for them to do it. But they're playing for a chance for their 15th straight Big 12 title. Bill Self, quote, "All we can do is what we can and control what we can. All we can control is preparation for OU and getting ready to play a good Sooner team that's also playing for a lot as well." Let's not forget, Oklahoma very much on the bubble. This is the type of game that the Sooners may be able to punch their big dance ticket with a victory. You know, they played a tough non-conference slate. They played well against that slate. And even though they lost to Kansas earlier in the season, 70-63, not the same Jayhawks team. You know, Azubuike, that was his last game of the year. He tore his ligaments in his right hand after that game. You know, Vic hasn't played in a month after taking a leave of absence for personal reasons. Those were 2 key players in that first contest. You know, neither one's around here. Oklahoma beat them at home last year. They're 9-5 against the spread in Norman. They've been a big point spread winner all year. Kansas hasn't. Just saying.
Off the mic, Teddy segment today. Coming up in the news here, keeps ESPN going, talking about LeBron James. So we might as well dip our toes into the waters right here. Should LeBron sit the rest of the season since it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs? And look, I've been a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia Eagles, been a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia Phillies in the past. I can't imagine this when you sign a guy, and you might be the equivalent of, let's just say, even the Philadelphia Phillies this year with Bryce Harper. Gets everybody energized. You know, the tickets go up, the seat licenses go up, courtside tickets go up. Everybody's involved. They want to see LeBron. I can't imagine an organization like the Los Angeles Lakers who elevate themselves and pride themselves on being the best, just shutting down their best overall player and telling their fans, better luck next year. Thanks for the money, and we'll see it come again. I can't imagine LeBron James shutting it down if he's healthy here. He's got to save some face at least, Teddy.
Well, here's the question. Why? Why would you
shut
pay
it down?
$154 million for LeBron James, and you have a young team that's playing meaningful games in March and hopefully into April if you're a Lakers fan? No, they're not chalk to make the playoffs. They're big underdogs now. No, things haven't gotten right since the All-Star break. They've gone as wrong as could be. Does that mean that you bench your best player and say, all right, we're going to save him for next year? Not a chance. Remember, talking heads, guys like me and Donnie, well, we're not mainstream media. Mainstream media talking heads, they need something to talk about every day. We've got stuff to talk about. They don't. They don't want to talk about Butler and Xavier. That's not an important game for them. But for us, it is. But in the mainstream world, it's all LeBron and all the superstars all the time, and they have to yap and come up. Oh, that's what the ratings are made for. LeBron. They need nonsense to talk about. This is what they're talking about. Knock yourselves out. You can talk all day about LeBron sitting. LeBron's not going to sit, and it's not an issue. And he shouldn't be sitting. End of argument.
Yep, and that betting show ends up right around 20 minutes, Teddy, as a design each and every day, your one-stop shop for all your sports betting needs. Thank you for tuning in today, March 5th, 2019. He's Teddy Savransky. Give him a follow on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm Donnie Seymour at Rightside VP. We'll be back tomorrow. More March Madness on SportsbookReview.com's That Betting Show. Take care, folks.